I did run out to my car. So,
No problem. No problem. All good. Well, first of all, Dean, congratulations on winning
and
not one, but two categories for Best Music Video and Best Visual Effects. Your work was truly amazing. Please tell us what was the main source of inspiration for this project.
well, the music video one, so that's something I started kind of playing around with the last month or two. Um, a million years ago, after like kind of, I went to college for, for film, and kind of back then had a dream of doing music videos and stuff like that. My career didn't go that way. I ended up, getting into kind of web development and a bunch of other stuff like that. But yeah, since the last few years of kind of exploring all this AI um, capabilities and really kind of leaning in on the video part of it, it's been exciting to be able to kind of revisit an old passion and kind of create these sort of alternate world music videos for bands that don't exist and stuff. And it's always been a fun medium for me, like because it's you can kind of go wherever you want with it, so that's been kind of neat. And then yeah, the other project was it actually had just started as a set. I was just playing around in Midjourney and making some kind of like weird robot sci-fi kind of stuff, and started animating some things and kind of felt like, oh, this could kind of string together into a little sort of
Mhm.
abstract story and stuff. So, and I wanted to do something a little longer because prior to that, I had been doing, like little 30-second and 1 minute things. So it was just also trying to see what I could do. So I think that thing's around 9 minutes or so. And,
Yeah.
ultimately I'd like to start working on it. I've been kind of working on a short film in the background, but it's taking a while.
I see that. Well, just so you know, my pink jacket is inspired by the pink octopus that was in your work. I was watching it and I was mesmerized because these robots, they were so sexy, so realistic, yet so robotic. And that really reminded me, um, I was at the concert at the Sphere in Las
Oh,
Vegas. And the concert was by the artist Anima, and pretty much they had these robots on the sphere, on the whole screen. And I was like, oh my God, this work has so much potential. I must see it in Vegas. Like, this was insane. The attention to detail. Please tell me how much of these details was created by AI and how much of that was described in the prompt by you.
um, probably about 50-50. Sort of the way I work is a little bit of I almost call it like a push and pull with Midjourney. I'll kind of start with a sort of a more bare prompt and then kind of keep tweaking it as if I
Layering.
start to get, yeah, if I start to get on a roll of something that I like the direction that it's going, I'll start sprinkling in more descriptive words, try to kind of craft some things and then do some kind of, re-roll some things and vary them. And it's one of the nice things with the way Midjourney works is just, between like your personalization and then I'll create some mood boards and stuff. And so you can, get a very unique style once I get some type of look that I'm going for. And then it's really about just manipulating the scene a little bit and kind of swapping out what's in there. That piece in particular, there's quite a wide variety of creatures and robots and stuff like that. But that was sort of the idea, was like this immense
Mhm.
space station, so there wasn't a ton of like things were very different and scattered around. And
I think that was the most fun program failure that you could find. So many things happening. But going back to the music
yeah,
video, was the music also created by artificial intelligence or no?
yes, yeah. So what I have been doing is, again, starting in mid journey and kind of going off on a theme. So I'll maybe play around in a space that looks like kind of retro 70s, like B movies you'd see like late at night, or like something in like a 90s grunge sort of scene, whatever kind of sort of general loose area. And then I'll usually kind of animate those as well, and sort of just kind of see where each image takes me. So there's not really, for those it's a little bit different where there's not a overall cohesive thing yet. And then when I have sort of a bunch of clips is where I sort of kind of I will actually like kind of just I have like a bazillion Spotify playlists, and I'm kind of they're all kind of mood based, so I'll kind of click through those, and as I'm kind of looking at the clips and kind of feeling like, oh, this sort of feels like this type of music might work here. So then I'll between Suno and Chat GPT kind of start to hone in on like, so what is the, what's the instrumentation in a song like that, what's the musicality and the feel and the way it flows, and go into all of that. And then kind of last I'll sort of, now that I know what the clips are and I've kind of got the mood and the vibe, what is lyrically should it do? And I usually try to keep that pretty abstract so that it's not, because I've already got the clips, and trying not to, if I had started the opposite way where I've got lyrics first, now I want to
Yeah,
make the images and video clips fit those lyrics. But since I'm kind of approaching it backward a little bit, it's less about the details of the lyrics. So
I see. Here's some useful tips from you, huh? For the future creators. Actually, after watching your music video, I was wondering if, what do you look like? If you're gonna be wearing all black, maybe dark nail polish or something.
yeah.
But
Maybe a long time ago. Yeah, currently
oh, that's so
looking
cozy.
pretty normal.
I
But
love
yeah.
it. Please tell me which part of the project was the most exciting for you, working with the music or the visual effects?
Oh, that's a good question because I am really enjoying, like, I'm sure you're aware, it feels like now pretty much every 6 hours there's some new video feature or new AI image feature and stuff like that. So in an effort to try to keep up with all of that, it's been pretty exciting on that side. So the kind of creation and bringing images to life, and seeing what you can do with video, I would say is that's sort of the most like momentary interesting part to me. And I think the music video thing, it feels that's sort of more like just my comfort zone. I've
Mhm.
always like, even in my work life, when I do have the opportunity to edit, videos together, and it's a lot of more like corporate type stuff or whatever, but I always like to lean in on some whatever kind of music or sound backdrop, that plays a role in how you edit it together and stuff. So that's sort of like my go-to how I work. But yeah, I would say like working in all these new video tools and stuff like that is pretty exciting.
Okay, well, are there any new projects you're working on that you would like to share with us?
Well, like I said, although I'm probably closing in on a year since I kind of started it, I have a short film idea. I've got a lot of the video done and some pieces, parts, and I think I'm kind of glad it's actually took me a while, because the part I was kind of hung up on was being able to add, talking.
Mhm.
And, over the last month or two in particular, between all, with the Sora just coming out and the Google VO and all that, so now tackling that part should be manageable. And so my plan is to go back and kind of, orchestrate those parts and then really start piecing that together. Other than that, like I said, I'm a CPP in a few of these platforms, and so I'm constantly trying to like stay on top of what they're doing. I am excited about the music video thing, so I've actually started a playlist on my YouTube channel that has the six or seven that I've done so far, and I was actually working on one last night, so I'll probably sprinkle those type of things in there pretty frequently, just because it's just so much fun. So.
Love that. Love that. And I think my favorite question to ask is, were there any moments when AI surprised you with results beyond your expectations?
Yeah, probably a little bit of all the time. Um, the other fun part really is that all these platforms are so different. So you've got, when Midjourney came out with their video capabilities, like that aesthetic really kind of spurred the music video part, because I had been doing video stuff for a while now. But, Hailu has like their own sort of style, and Kling is very kind of crisp and concise, so there's like a nice use case for any type of video you want to do. There's a platform that will kind of lean in on that. So that I think has been maybe not surprising, but has been a cool factor of it all. So like doing different types of projects, you have a lot of access to, you just use a different platform, try it over here. If it's not quite working, let me try it over there. And, it gets a little pricey with all the platforms, um, but no, that has been pretty exciting how different video models can behave, but they all have some really, kind of strong pros.
And when we're talking price, I mean, um, we all know the crazy budgets for all the 3D animation, CGI, all of that crazy stuff. Um, how much are the submissions for the subscriptions for the, let's say, Sora or Chat GPT or et cetera, so that when we compare and contrast, the difference is crazy, huh?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, they're all a little bit all over the place. Like I said, being in the CPP, there's a few where I'm able to kind of use those tools and test some stuff out. But then, honestly, I'm trying to think. I pay for Midjourney, Kling,
Mhm.
Hailu, um, ChatGPT.
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
Yeah, so
uh-huh.
yeah, it adds up. But it's once I got to where I was doing it pretty frequently, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to go with it. So I've got a YouTube channel, the Instagram, and I'm trying to sort of figure out what do I do with this next. The part of it is like love doing it, so if it just stays a hobby, that money still feels well spent. It would, if I get to work on some actual nice projects and do some other kind of stuff, that's cool too. But right now I don't picture it like leaving my day job to go do it, but you know, who knows down the road. But
Who knows? Who knows? And actually, leading to that, as a pioneer in the AI film making, how do you see the industry in, let's say, 3 to 5 years from now?
I probably should have thought about this before the call. No, well, it's funny because some of there's a lot of people involved in it, especially on Instagram that we have groups and we all talk, and it's been very cool to get perspective of people all over the globe. Um, but it is kind of funny. Sort of everybody talks in that sort of framework, like what I wonder what this is going to be in a year or two. But in reality, it's almost like I wonder what it's going to be next month. Like it's changing so fast. So I don't, yeah, trying to picture 3 to 5 years from now almost seems, because it's been less than 3 years since I started this. And I know it had been going for, a couple years before that. So, yeah, I would almost say, it'll be interesting to see where we're at in 6 months. From an industry standpoint, too, how that all starts to shake out in terms of, I know there's stuff in the news all the time and this thing right now with an AI actress, and there's trying to figure that out. And it's always a little bit of a odd line to live on. Like I said, I'm doing it as a hobby right now, so I'm not, certainly infringing on someone's, you know, well-being or their job, and I'm not necessarily, but I think, I also think like any other tool that's come out, when Photoshop came out, everybody thought that was, going to destroy photography or whatever. There's those things all happen. So we'll see where it goes and how it kind of shakes out. But I think it's going to be way quicker than 3 to 5 years, where it's somewhere that we can't even picture right now.
I see that. I agree. I mean, it's crazy what's happening, and I really admire all the AI film making because as someone who is a part of like IMPA, I sat down. I was like, let me see, like, how hard is that? A prompt, like, et cetera, et cetera. That's hard. I couldn't even
Yeah.
create an image. It took me hours. So,
Yeah. Well, it is interesting. I mean, I guess so for me, I was lucky because my background, like I've been using Photoshop for 25
um,
years and Premiere and stuff. So, like I said, again, being able to leverage those skills I already had, the AI part is really like it's enabling me to have content to work with, essentially. Um, you know, all the stuff I'm doing after the fact, the editing and piecing it together and syncing the music and doing all that stuff, those are all skills, things that I've been doing, prior to AI. So, but yeah, it is like one of those things too. Like, sure, you could type into Chat GPT, give me a picture of a cat, and you'll get a picture of a cat. But how do you take it to that next step is definitely a a lot of trial and error and a lot of practice, but it's also a lot of fun. So
I'm gonna go work on that after this interview. And finally, can we expect to see your new works again at the La Impa Festival?
yeah, yeah, I'll certainly submit some more things. And like I said, I'm trying to. I generally do something nearly every day, so a lot of it is just sort of playing around and trying out different stuff. But yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Can't wait to see your short film submission that you've been working on for a long time. It's very exciting. And thank you so much, Dean, for being here with us today.
No, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so
All
much and have a good
right.
one.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.